Hello, it's Talia and this is baby Rose. Say hi. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about how you can afford to be a stay-at-home mom living off of one income. This is something that is near and dear to my heart because I've been so thankful and so blessed to be able to stay home with my kids, but it has not been an easy task. And there are so many people out there that are like, how do you do it? Oh, if I could only stay home, I would. And it is possible, and many people can, but it involves drastic measures for most people. It involves a lot of changes, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of prioritizing. I have been a stay-at-home mom for 3 years now, and my husband is a teacher. So we don't make a whole lot. It's not like we're living off of one income and my husband's a surgeon. And we live in Southern California. So just the expenses of living are incredibly high. Housing is through the roof. Gas is through the roof. Taxes are the second highest in the nation. And yet, despite all those factors, we've been able to build a very comfortable, happy, healthy lifestyle for us and for our family. And it's been so worth it. Many people that say they wish that they would be able to quit their jobs and stay home to be a stay-at-home mom are in fact able to, but say that they're unable to because they cannot stay at home and maintain the same lifestyle that they have. And that's true. You can't maintain the exact same standard of living as you were before when you had two incomes to then when you go down to one income. So there are a lot of changes that do need to happen, and it looks different for everyone, but I thought it would be best to kind of go through my journey with you guys and tell you the key points and principles that my husband and I have been able to pull from, and hopefully you can then pull those principles and apply them to your life and maybe tweak them a little bit. So I'm in no way telling you what to do and telling you how to maintain your finances and live your life, but I'm just going to go over the principles that we learned. I'm going to go through them in 3 stages: preparation, income, and spending. So right from the get-go, when my husband and I got married about 8 years ago, we knew that when we began to have children that I would want to stay at home to be able to raise them, because what would be the point in having kids just to have someone else raise them? And we got rid of any debt that we had. So we made sure that before we had kids, we were free of car loans, student loans, credit card debt, personal IOUs, anything like that. A lot of people are okay with living with a little debt, especially school loans and car loans. Those seem to be the kind of like okay debt that everybody goes into. So going into the quitting your job and staying home with your kids stage, I would recommend 2 things. You're out of debt, and you have a savings set aside. So I know those are high lofty goals and it sounds like that would take forever to do, but if you're able to do that before you have kids, great. If not, you can work on it once you do have kids, but that is an amazing place to be in going into quitting your job. Now, again, not everybody has that ability, but do the best that you can. Okay, so once you quit your job, there are only 2 things you can do to affect the amount of wealth that you have: your income and your spending. First, I'm going to address the spending. Once you are down to one income, the terms need, necessity, have to have, those all get redefined because your lifestyle will most likely drastically change. Before I quit my job and stayed home, I thought that I already was frugal and I was already cutting coupons and already doing a good job budgeting. But when we really had to cut the fat off the top of everything, we looked and saw that there was a lot of discretionary spending in our budget that we didn't even realize we had. If it is your goal to stay home, then you need to look at all the other expenditures and habits and lifestyle that you've created for yourself as optional then, because if staying at home is your #1 priority, then other things are going to have to be adjusted. For a period of time, once I quit my job, my husband and I had to cancel our cell phones, which most people just assume are absolutely essential. We found that they weren't. It was more important for me to stay home and for us to pay our bills. It's more important, I think, to have a budget that you're in agreement about than a budget that's super bulletproof, because the last thing you want to do is be getting in fights about money or having one person feel like they're just getting railroaded. So you really need to be on the same page with your spouse and with your partner to make sure that you guys are making decisions together and right in line. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but let me tell you what my husband and I did with our budget to allow it to make sense and to work for us and our new lifestyle that we created. First off, we do not use credit cards. unless it's just out of a sense of convenience. We happen to have left our cash at home, so we'll swipe our card and then pay it off immediately. So we never keep a running balance on our credit cards. We use the cash system, an envelope system. Every month when my husband gets his first paycheck of the month, we go ahead and cash it out, and we put it in envelopes listed groceries, gas, vacation, auto, maintenance. We've found that we will just absolutely spend less when we have cash in our pockets. There's an envelope telling us how much we have for that month. You'll quickly learn how to adjust your lifestyle and your spending, and it'll be a lot easier to put those things back on the shelf that were in your cart that maybe aren't like necessary purchases. Quick word on the budget. I think it's very important to be able to vet your budget that you created for at least 3 months. So kind of keep it more as a guideline for the first 3 months and really track your spending and see where it is that your money is going. Because building a budget that is not really representative of where you're spending your money, it can be disastrous and even very deflating if by the end of the month you weren't really able to stick to it. So in your spending habits, it's very, very important to draw a clear line and a clear boundary between need and want, because those two lines get blurred so easily and so quickly, especially in just the American culture of more is better, and if you want it and you need it, then go for it. But want and need are two very, very different things. And this was a little bit easier for me because I grew up broke. I didn't know there was a zoo. I thought the zoo was the petting store. I thought the library was Blockbuster. When I would go to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, I didn't know you could actually purchase tokens. I thought that you just had to like jump in the ball pit and search the bottom and hope to find discarded or lost tokens, and that was half the fun. So this for me was a little bit of an easier change as far as spending, because I was pretty much just going not all the way back to how I was raised, but I was able to more draw from that, okay, I'm not gonna buy clothes for literally 2 years straight. So when I'm saying that you have to adjust and change your lifestyle, for some of you, it will be extreme and maybe it won't be worth it for you, so you really need to weigh it out. I literally have not purchased a new outfit in 3 years, and I'm not kidding, and when I did, it was from Goodwill. And that's not for anyone to feel sorry for me or anything. I mean, I've got plenty of clothes. I am dressed. We drive junky old cars that we pay cash for. When I go grocery shopping, I really can't afford to buy the pre-made, pre-done things back. So when I say sacrifices, I mean sacrifices. There are a lot of sacrifices you have to make, but I do not feel poor in any way. On the contrary, I feel so wealthy and rich because my husband and I have really clearly looked at their priorities, and staying at home with their kids and being there with them and getting to spend time together as a family, that is of utmost priority. And we all have our health, and so I just feel so rich and so healthy. We just live in absolute excess. So when you start to strip things back, it can at first hurt and feel like, oh, poor me, I'm going without, but that's not the case at all, and you will open your eyes to a whole other world of thankfulness and appreciation. Contentment does not come from excess money and excess spending. It comes from having good, clear priorities and learning how to really appreciate the good things in life, like spending time with your family. I don't know why parents think that in order to be good parents, they need to give their kids tons of excess, and anything that they want, they just provide instantly, and that their child never has any need and never goes without. You make sure they have every opportunity in the world. Well, I think that the opportunities that our kids need are time with you as a parent. So the spending is really gonna be hard, and that's gonna be the toughest part, but totally worth it, and you just gotta hang in there and stick with it for a while. Mwah. So then second, the only other way that you can affect how much wealth you have, monetarily speaking, is your income. Now, of course, everyone's desire is to increase their income, so there's no magical way to just snap your fingers and increase your income. However, there are ways as a stay-at-home mom that you can find to make money from home without sacrificing any time with your kids and without necessarily going back to work. I have not gone back to work. However, I have found a few ways to bring in a little extra income. I clean houses a few times a month, and those are jobs that I'm able to take my kids to, and they stay at the house with me, and I spend a couple hours and I clean up the person's house, and it helps with, you know, gas and groceries. And then also for 20 hours a week, I nanny. But having those 20 hours of nannying every week has really helped, again, just with gas and groceries and covering extra bills and things like that. So that may look completely different for you. That may look like making things and selling them on Etsy, or babysitting every now and then, or working from home doing some kind kind of skill or trade that you might have, or whatever that looks like. There are ways that you can find to bring in a little extra money, and that always helps. And maybe you build a budget that's tight enough that you don't have to, and then yay, you don't have to worry about doing anything but just staying at home and making your babies happy. Anyway, I hope that helps. Good luck staying at home. I hope it goes well. If you guys have any other pointers or tips or comments, please leave them. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, bye. Can you say bye-bye? Oh.